So, guys, welcome to another episode of Grant Talks Funny Bits. Here's the thing. Last week we had some sound technical issues, so if you can see and hear me, please comment in the section below and just say, Grant, we can hear you. If not, then we shall work on that. Today's guest is an absolute gent within the hypnosis industry. I met this guy a few years back in Vegas and absolutely was freely giving his time after a show. Now, I know after one of my shows, I want to be in the car and I want to be on the way home and done. Luckily, this guy doesn't have to go home. He's from Vegas, but trust me, he was so giving to both myself and another guy that was there. He is absolutely brilliant. He is a Vegas headliner. He's got the, let me just get this right, 2 times Best of Vegas Award, Certificate of Excellence from TripAdvisor, one of the highest rated Vegas performers, and considered a rock star of the hypnosis world. So stay tuned for this, and I shall see you on the other side. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please tap your keyboard, make some noise, and welcome to Grant Talks Funny Bits, the legend that is Kevin Lepine.
Hey guys, Grant, thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on as well. It's yeah, I know we almost had it last week. We've definitely got it this week, and it's great to have you on. Each week we always try and bring someone that brings something special to the industry rather than just people kind of bashing it out. And you really do. You're out there performing in, is it still Binions that you're in?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. In fact, they last year they opened they put a big investment in and opened a brand new showroom for us.
Oh, fantastic. So we've just got a couple of hellos.
They're loving that investment right now.
And you know what? At least you got it before the lockdown.
Yes.
So yeah, we've got Jason Simmons who says, "Oh, good tonight with the sound." That's brilliant.
Jason, I see Jason. I see Elena and Dale. Hey, man.
Dale Thomas, an absolute gent. He's from Ireland. And Dale is, we both went in for a competition very recently, which we both won last year. And this year we came up as commended. So we got picked to the post. Dale's a great guy, and Dale's going to be on the show in a few weeks' time.
Okay, so wait, you just kind of blew past something that's actually really cool and important. So what award did both of you win?
Oh, last year I won North of England Entertainer of the Year, and last year Dale Thomas won Ireland Entertainer of the Year.
Okay, the reason I'm going back to that really quickly is, so when you won, that didn't hurt his career, and when he won, it didn't hurt yours.
No, not at all.
You know, there are 3 main hypnosis shows here in Vegas. There's myself, there's Anthony Cools, and there's Mark Zavard. We have helped each other win awards. We have supported each other because we know that when there's good hypnosis shows, so if you come to see my show and it's a good show, then the next time you come to Vegas, maybe you're going to come to see me again, or maybe you're going to go, man, hypnosis shows are fun. Let's check out another one.
Yeah.
You can support each other and grow and build without worrying. So it's a great thing.
Do you know what? I mean, I think that's why stage hypnosis, especially in the UK, has struggled over the years, because when people see a bad hypnosis show, or even worse than a bad hypnosis show, a boring hypnosis show, then they pay, that's it. They will not go and spend money on tickets to see another hypnosis show. So like you said, it's a rising tide raises all ships.
And there is one big problem in our industry. And it's the fact that we are a very small part of the entertainment world.
Yeah.
Very small part. And you kind of hit it on the head with what you just said. If somebody sees a bad comic, if they see a bad stand-up comic, they blame the comic.
Yeah.
If they see 5 bad comics in a row at a comedy club, they blame the comedy club. But if they see one bad hypnosis show, they will never go to another hypnosis show, period.
Yeah. Dale Thomas totally agrees. We've got a hello as well from Kevin Eastwood, who's a Leeds United fan, bless him. So first and foremost, Vegas, how is it at the moment with the whole situation?
It's day by day, we're finding ways for it to get better and better. Good. That's really the best way to say it. Our governor is still prohibiting live entertainment.
Yeah.
And we could debate the merits on that left and right, but us debating it's not going to change anything.
Yeah.
What I can say is that the governor is trying his best to figure out step by step what to reopen, how to reopen, and to make sure Vegas doesn't go back into a total shutdown. So, I mean, the casinos are open with a lot of actually really cool perks. They've done away with charging for parking. They've done away with resort fees. They're pretty much, the casinos are kind of going back to what they were, where they were trying to bribe you to come and stay. So
nice. So yeah, so totally agree there. Also, yeah, Ian Rogers, a UK hypnotist. Benidorm needs a hypnotist, dude. Cheers, Brian. Brian runs a Innovisions, which is one of the biggest hypnotherapy training schools over here in the UK. Yeah. So, Kevin, what took you from being Kevin, the toddler in the childhood, running around in the playground, to going, I want to be a Vegas hypnotist?
Pure bullheaded, nonstop determination, tied in with the desire to learn from anyone who is dumb enough to be willing to teach me. I mean, if like I'm going to condense, 25 or almost, so in high school I did plays. I started working for an entertainment company doing costume characters at kids' birthday parties when I was 16. That got me into meeting clowns. Clowns got me into magicians. Magicians got me into sideshow. Sideshow got me into meeting hypnotists. When I was 20, I got enrolled in a course for social workers, knowing that I was going to use it just for stage. But that was the only place there was to learn at the time. And then it was just nonstop learning.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I have a great blessing and curse in that my friends are the best kind of jerks a human being can hope for.
Yeah.
I would videotape every type of show I did constantly, and my friends would come to shows as well. And it was constantly just fixing this, tweaking that, learning this, learning that. I grew up in the Detroit area. When I was 25, I had the option to go to New Orleans for 6 months to do my hypnosis show and to do a seance recreation for a ghost tour company in New Orleans. And 6 months turned into 5 years. And while I was there, I was also doing some of the ghost tours, and my friends would come on the ghost tours, which were amazing because you'd be given 30 people a night. And you're walking through the streets of New Orleans, you have to keep their attention.
Yeah.
Or you're going to take a left and they're just going to keep going. And my friends would come on that and they would critique this, they would critique that. Because I'd done magic for so many years, I had this tendency to lean forward like I was doing card tricks. So they put me in a back brace for a couple of weeks. There were a couple of weeks I wasn't allowed to move my left foot because I was pacing too much. And then one of the biggest things these jerks did. All right, are you ready? Here we go. Those were the 4 things that I would say out loud when I meant to say, but I didn't have the confidence to say that. And it was learning how to embrace those pauses. Then Katrina kicked me out of New Orleans. I went back to Detroit, where I got very fortunate and landed a huge, huge corporate gig. No, Christine, I haven't always worked in Vegas. I started in Detroit, went to New Orleans, then I moved back to Detroit. I landed a huge corporate contract, which took me all over the world doing hypnosis shows, literally, but for high-end corporate things, which taught me a whole nother level. And then when I came to Vegas, I had 6 months of corporate work, and I had the opportunity to meet Terry Stokes and Michael Johns, who had Hypnosis Unleashed. Terry allowed me to do guest sets in his show. And they ended up just kind of letting me hang out. And honestly, here's one of the biggest things. So I had over 15 years of experience traveling the world doing hypnosis shows. And for 6 months, besides doing my own corporate shows here, I was an intern. I redid promo. I sat people. I worked as an assistant. I did anything to learn. And then eventually they gave me what I really wanted, which was my own night. They gave me their dark night. Terry ended up retiring from Vegas, so I took over that spot. And then when the Harmon Theater we were in closed, Michael Johns was kind of done with Vegas. He had done it for many years, and he gave me the offer of carrying the name forward, which was a beautiful thing and made it much easier for me to get my next contract and grow and grow and grow. But I mean, a lot, and I even asked them, you guys met hundreds of hypnotists. How did I get allowed to be here? And they said, honestly, you were the first one who wanted to come here and learn, not the first one who came here and said, oh, here's how great I am.
Yeah. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's I think in all professions there's an element of that, but especially within stage hypnosis, there's a lot of we're drinking our own Kool-Aid, and there's a lot of guys that do kind of get caught up in that, especially in the early days.
Well, the problem is, especially as a hypnotist, you're alone. You're doing it alone. So who else do you turn to? And I've gotten very lucky. So in the theater that Hypnosis Unleashed was originally in, the Harmon Theater, when I joined them, the amazing Jonathan was there as well, who's also from Detroit, but I never really got to meet until Vegas. And here's one of the great things about Vegas. So Jonathan was never going to come back to the Harmon Theater to watch my show on a night off. It just wasn't going to happen. So one night as our show ends, he walks into my side of the showroom, grabs one of my DVDs out of the burner, and leaves. And on his way home, he calls me and goes, look, do you just want me to tell you you're good? Because, oh my God, you're the best. I love you. I'm like, no, I want you to be honest. He goes, all right.
Yeah.
2 days later, he calls me. He says, all right, come to the house in a couple of days. I go to the house. He has 4 pages, single-spaced, double-sided, time-coded notes. I mean, just tearing me in half, but not tearing me in half to go, look how much better I am than you. Tearing me in half going, you have a setup line here. You have this line, this line, this line, then your punchline. Get rid of these lines. Tighten this up. And I mean, but that's the thing is, if you are willing to work with people who have something to offer, they will. I highly recommend. Go to open mic nights. Go to open mic comedy nights. And the great thing about an open mic comedy night, there'll be 10 comics there. 7 of them are never going to do anything. 2 of them have notebooks full of material, and you want to get to know them because they'll help you. They'll help you write. They'll help you develop your personality. And the last person is an absolute train wreck that all the comics just love to watch, just be a train wreck. And for the record, if you go to a comedy open mic night and you don't see who the train wreck is, you just learned something about yourself.
Yeah. Very true. Very true.
So sorry, that was a really long answer for all of that.
No. One of the things what I like about these that we're doing as well is it's exactly what you're saying then about giving value. We could have an interview where we're both just kind of telling each other that we're wonderful, but nobody watching is going to get any value from that. What you do is deliver value. One thing you do in your show, sorry to jump ahead a little bit, but I thought I'd bring it up now because it's something that was, from my experience, is fairly unique to you. There might be other people doing it, but I think it takes a lot of balls on stage to do it, is when you call for volunteers and then leave the stage and go, I'll come back when the stage is full.
Okay. There are a few people who do that as well.
Yeah.
And let me really take a moment on that one. Because this isn't something that I do all the time.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, in 80+% of my shows, those chairs are full before the intro music is even really kicking in to have them come up. And then there are shows where, let's say I know that I want 12 or 14 people on stage, and I get 8. I know that I can get the other 4.
Yeah.
And then there are nights where people are really hesitant to volunteer. Here's why I walk off the stage. If I stay on the stage, they're staring at me. And it becomes almost a mental challenge between me and them. If I walk off the stage and now all they're looking at is an empty stage, there's no challenge anymore, because it's not an ego. They're not, fighting against me. They're not looking at me going, well, what are you going to do about this? I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to remove myself from the situation, because you don't want to put yourself in a moment where you get frustrated.
Yeah. Oh, it looks like you're begging for volunteers.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things to talk about is quicksand. You walk up on stage, and there are times that you find yourself in quicksand. Something happens, something goes wrong, a moment doesn't work the way you want it to, and you find yourself sinking. And the natural response to most performers when they're in quicksand is to do what?
Well,
they rush, they panic, they try to force something else, and as soon as you rush in quicksand, you sink deeper.
Yeah. Yeah.
The hardest thing to do when you're in quicksand, the hardest thing to do when you find yourself in a bad stage situation, is to go, oh, this sucks. Let me pull myself out. Then I'll carry everything else with me.
Yeah.
But it's hard to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That natural response is, like you said, to rush, to panic, to get to the next safe bit. But yeah, like you said, it takes a lot of stage confidence to just stop, take a moment, evaluate, and then move forward. So yeah, brilliant.
Yeah. When I talk about doing corporate gigs, the one thing that I tell people is nobody is paying me actually for the gig I'm doing tonight. Because if I'm charging for the gig I'm doing tonight, hell, I'll do it for $25 because it's going to be easy. What you're paying all the money for is because I've done all these thousands of shows before tonight, and tonight's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say there's nothing that I haven't seen. I'm just going to say it would take a lot for me to go, huh, that's different.
So what's how many nights a week are you performing at the moment, or not at the moment, but in a regular season in Vegas? What is it? Are you 5 nights, 6 nights,
So
3 nights, 2 nights?
I give my wife a lot of credit for this. So this October will be 10 years as a Vegas headliner.
Fantastic. Congratulations.
And this will be, we just passed the 2-year mark of finally dropping it down to 5 nights a week. I had been doing 6 nights a week, but after doing that for years, I finally got to the point where it was starting to catch up to me, and I needed the extra mental health day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, your wife helps you with your show. She does the last, when I saw your show, she was doing the sound and lighting as well, which must be a great dynamic, really, because you get to work together, and she knows your show inside and out.
And was she playing violin in the show when you were there?
Oh, no, she wasn't.
Because I wasn't sure. She probably just added in right after we met, actually. So a little over 2 years ago, my wife had this idea where she's like, you know what would be really cool at the end and in a couple of other parts in the show is if there was a live violinist.
Yeah.
And she asked me something that, so this describes a lot about how our relationship works. She went, do you think it would be stupid if I took violin lessons? And I went, no, nothing's stupid if you want to learn and grow. I'll take piano lessons and we'll learn something together. And we've always supported each other. If there's something one of us wants to do, the other one is right there to support and to help and to grow. She's also the lead in a show here in Vegas called Marriage Can Be Murder. And she's also been in a few other productions here in town. She is a very, very talented performer. And it makes it amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
I love the idea of the violin. I have a friend, Alicia, who's a Russian violinist who's phenomenal. And for years, I've kind of said to her, I'd love to do something with you in the show, because I think the violin in itself is such a mesmerizing instrument. So yeah, that's fantastic, and it just adds another element of kind of another depth, another level to the performance side of it. So yeah,
it very much does.
Moving slightly away from the stage stuff for a second, I have to comment on that thing behind you, the hypnosis. That is really cool. Is that?
Okay, so there's so many parts to this story. So that was actually commissioned by my birth father. He found the artist Muti from New Orleans who makes those. He My birth father ran into him at an art fair, saw some of the sideshow stuff he did, and commissioned him to do the hypnosis thing for me. And when I say my birth father, this story gets a little confusing to some people. Well, here's the thing. I'm adopted. I always knew I was adopted. When I was 30, I decided I would find my birth parents because I wanted to say thank you. I'm out there. I'm living a dream. I'm doing everything that I ever wanted. I just wanted to thank them for the choices that they made.
Yeah.
My birth father's hobby since he was 9 was magic and hypnosis. I had no idea at all. So, I mean, when he found out what I did for a living, he was just blown away. And I mean, we just melded. And, my family that I grew up with and my birth parents, all of the families just came together. It was an amazing experience. But the one thing that I will say is one of the reasons it was such an amazing experience is that I went into it with gratitude, not looking for anything else.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's kind of true in life. If you go into something with gratitude and with joy in your heart, you'll find a lot more things come together than when you're doing it in bitterness or anger.
Yes, absolutely.
And Lord knows I used bitterness and anger a lot. I did, but as somebody once told me, anger is awesome rocket fuel, but it has no guidance system whatsoever.
Very true. Very true. It took me a long time to learn that myself, if you know what I mean. I think from 35 onwards, I became a much more chilled person, and it is very much about that. What you put out, the universe brings back to you tenfold. So yeah, without going all woo woo, but I'm a big believer in that. So we've got a couple of clips. I'm going to play your first clip, which is your sizzle reel as well, and then we're going to show another clip slightly later on. But we're going to show this one first, just so the guys can see that, and then we shall come back.
Just really quickly before you play it. I will say this about that clip. Rock the Promo was doing their finals in Vegas, and they wanted to do something different, so they brought everybody from Rock the Promo, which was The Rock's Dwayne Johnson's YouTube show. So we had a couple of people from that in this as well.
Brilliant.
The more noise you make, the more you laugh, the more you cheer, the better they're going to do. Come on, get loud! See you for that, and we're going to have superstars up here tonight. From this point on the show, everything Emily or I tell you is the absolute truth the second we say it. Sleep. Always follow the middle, my man. Sleep. Always follow the middle. You are watching the funniest movie of all time. 1, 2, 3. You got those drunk giggles. It actually gets funnier and funnier. Count of 3. The 8 of you will open up your eyes. Not only am I completely naked, I am now the most well-endowed human being you have ever seen in your life. I am so lucky to have a group like this. Pat, you will stand up, you will slowly saunter over to your husband, Paul. You will give him the biggest kiss. Hell yeah, my man. Whenever Paul says the word blue. Blue. Oh, hell yes! The more noise you make, the better it is! He thought he was Britney Spears. He knew the words, too. No, that's my favorite part. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the Village People! The more noise you make, the better! Get loud, 5 seconds! You guys make tonight rock. Thank you!
Brilliant.
Actually, that's totally the wrong video.
Oh.
That was actually, this is good. I actually want, hold on one second. Love you, sweetie. Have fun. She's actually going to a violin lesson. I'm actually glad I gave you that clip instead of the right clip. That was actually one of the rough versions. That wasn't the final version. In the final version, we removed all of the copyright music.
Yeah.
We tightened a few things up, and we accented more about what individual people were doing.
Yeah.
Just to make it a little bit tighter, we wanted to drop it down to 90 seconds and make it stronger.
Yeah, I mean, it's video is, and it kind of leads on to what we're going to go on about. But video is one of the biggest sellers online for what we do, and I feel, and I'm guilty of it because I'm quite lazy when it comes to editing, but a lot of hypnotists focus too much on them or the show, and not so much on the audience and the atmosphere. And your clip perfectly balance that. The audience enjoying themselves, the volunteers enjoying themselves. So yes, it's a great example of that.
Okay, actually, did you get the clip for the 30-second promo?
Let's have a
if not, can I shoot it to you in Messenger?
Yep, send that over to me now.
Okay, because actually, if we're going to talk about promo, it would be to our detriment not to bring up a short clip of this one. And there's a reason, and I will explain as soon as I can get this thing to work. There we go. Just sent it.
Let's have a quick look. Yes. See, this is live, so we can do this live.
And
is it the 37 seconds one?
Yeah. It's really brief, but there's something I really if we're going to talk about promo and video, just let's throw it up for the 30 seconds if you can. And sorry, guys, that might mean this interview may go a little bit longer than we expected. We had. I always try and keep it short and concise, but as long as we're delivering value, I'm happy. And the guys will let us know if we bore them. And I will also, while Grant's getting that ready to pull up, I will tell you one of the most valuable things an agent ever did for me. This was when I was about 2021. I was working on a demo video. The agent brought me in, gave me a stack of videos to watch so I could make notes as far as what works on a video and what doesn't. And this was back when they were on VHS, so that'll tell you how old it was. But he held back 2 videos. And as soon as I was done watching all the other ones, he came in with the 2 videos and he put in a video. And he went, now watch this guy. This guy's great. You'll never be better. You'll be as good. But honestly, as far as a performer goes, there's no one better.
Wow.
He pisses off my clients. He shows up late. We never use him. Now this guy, he put in the second day because this guy, totally mediocre. You're already better than him. But he shows up early. He makes my job easy. Clients like him.
Yeah.
If you have the best show and you are the easiest to work with, you will always have a career. I never forgot that fact. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've touched wood. I'm a big believer in you've got to turn up early because you never know what's going to happen. It's all about being prepared. It's all about, it doesn't matter if you're not on stage till 9, 10, 11 o'clock. You've got to be there early. You've got to get sound checked. You've got to get done because anything could happen.
Yeah, very much so.
Right, let me bring this in now. I'm going to bring it in with you in the screen and then just double check that it's the right one.
Perfect. Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Perfect. Right, I shall bring that up solo now and play that one.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's why I wanted to bring that clip in. So that was actually filmed to Viacom standards. I was actually working on selling that to a network. Unfortunately, there were some personal issues between me and the producers, which stopped me from being able to do that. But if you are really, really looking at making a career jump, especially in a performing field, so that video was really expensive.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we sold a bunch of tickets, which did help cover some of the costs. And through some other things, we were able to really get the price down. But there's a 4-minute version of that is my corporate reel. You've got to, especially if you want to be charging $3,500, $5,000, $10,000 for a show, you need to look like a $10,000 show. And if that means you have to invest, and I know this sounds harsh, but really, you want to spend 3 shows. Whatever your target goal is, you want to spend about triple that to get the promo done and to get it done right. Meaning the venue looks the way you want it to. The audio is crisp. It's clean. You're working with not just, and we all have friends who are great at video editing.
Yeah.
But you want that next level of, how do I make this look like it's TV ready?
Yeah.
And sometimes your friends can't do that. And you really have to reach out and reach up.
Yeah.
Make sure, and I will tell you this, there's actually the 22-minute version of that is on my YouTube channel somewhere. And I will tell you what you see in the show is on the count of 3, you'll do this, 1, 2, 3, and they do that. What you don't see is, and we made this really clear, we made everybody coming in sign waivers saying that if they volunteered, we had the rights to use them.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would go, so everybody who's hypnotized, I'd tell them, I want you to move into this position, get into that exact position, feel this position. Because in a minute, I'm going to say on the count of 3, you're going to do this, and you're going to exactly do that. Now relax your body, and on the count of 3, you will. I mean, we really made sure.
Yeah.
We storyboarded it out. I knew the moments I wanted. I'm going to say this. I'm going to do this. We put a mark on the floor. I will be here when I do it.
Yeah.
If I have to move somebody into this position, I'll move them into that position. So we had everything lined up. And the beauty, and please, for everybody watching this, understand this. If you tell me your whole show is improv, I think you suck. And the reason for that is this. When you have a script in your head and you know where you want to go next, when something really, really funny happens, you get to enjoy that moment. You get to build that moment. You get to have fun with that moment. But then you don't fall off a cliff because you don't have the next moment.
Yeah.
When you have a script in your head, you can always go back to, okay, good, we had this amazing moment, and now we can keep the flow going.
Yeah.
And in that video, there were a lot of moments where I went, oh my God, how did we get that? That was fantastic. Because, the volunteers are always going to do something that's great.
Cool. It's about that promo reel is the thing that is really gonna, it's really gonna sell you. If you want to look like a $10,000 speaker, then you've got to, the booker has got to look at that sizzle reel and see a $10,000 speaker, not 4 chairs in a working men's club or in a bar somewhere on the floor. You've got to have your promo reel just kind of sell what you're selling.
And Dale Thomas actually asked the question. He said, do you get any ideas from other entertainment shows in Vegas? Yes and no. Okay. Go to other shows. See other shows. See every other kind of show. Be inspired by them.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So do I get ideas from other shows in Vegas? Man, I can't not. Well, no, like, for example, One by Cirque du Soleil. I walk out of that show every time I see it going, man, I suck. Just because, their production is unreal. The level of talent they have is unreal. It's just a whole nother level. But, you see some of those things, and here is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give for performers. Never, ever put a knife in somebody's back. They will never forget it. You don't need to do it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, put a target on people's chests. And what I mean by that is this. If you go to a show and there is something about that show that you feel is better than yours, analyze it. Figure out why it's better. Figure out what makes it better. And then figure out, what do you have to do to go over that bar now?
Yeah.
And yes, Dale, I'm talking about cirque shows, magic shows. I mean, just, any of the different shows. There's always people to be inspired by. There really are. But, always look at something that you think is far beyond you, something that you think is better than you, and go, what do I need to be as good or better than that?
Yeah. Yeah. Great advice. Great advice. Moving on a little bit, the next video clip is not a hypnosis video clip as such, but an absolutely great marketing tool. And not many hypnotists utilize this or do things like this. And I think it's a great marketing tool. So I'm going to show that now.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us today. I have a very brief announcement. I'll answer one quick question before we get to that.
Yes. How long have you been doing Hypnosis Unleashed?
I've been very fortunate. I've been doing Hypnosis Unleashed here in Las Vegas for the last 9 years. I am very happy to be able to call Binion's home. They've been an amazing partner to us, which actually leads me right into the announcement. As most of you know, this summer Binion's will be reopening the Apache Hotel. Along with the hotel, Binion's is currently in construction of the all-new Apache showroom, a beautiful 90-seat theater featuring a classic Vegas look. I'm very excited for you to see it.
Can we see the showroom today?
Unfortunately, no, you will not be able to see the showroom today. They're currently in construction. As soon as photos and videos are available, we'll have them to you as soon as possible. Also,
Yes, Kevin, do you have time for us to go?
No, I don't. I don't even have time to do this.
Fantastic. Great video.
So getting press can be a real pain in the butt. Trying to get press organized and to you at the same time can be a pain. So, we just decided, let's do something totally ridiculous. And I just did my own press conference in my, alone in the room. And what was great about it is every press person in Vegas tweeted it, put it on social media. They really did everything when they went, oh, that's brilliant. Because they also knew I was kind of poking fun at them.
Yeah.
But I wasn't doing it in a mean way.
Yeah.
So when they're in on the joke, they want to promote the joke.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And again, it's effectively free marketing. They're putting it out there for you. And it shows a level of quality that they kind of expect that they're going to get from the show as well. So yeah, it's fantastic. So what's next for you? I know, like I say, they've just done the Apache showroom up.
Well, we actually have a few ideas for stuff that we want to do for our 10-year. But everything's on pause right now.
Of course. So
as soon as we can breathe life back into that, then it's just going to be, there's going to be a lot of cool announcements. There's going to be a lot of fun stuff. But before I start talking about it, I want to be able to have facts, not, eventually one day, here's what we're hoping to do. I never like that kind of stuff. I'd rather go with, here is what we know. Yeah. If you were to give one tip to a stage hypnotist that's out there at the moment, gigging on the road, in the trenches as such, that's wanting to up their game and add more production, book more shows, one killer nugget tip, what would it be? Okay, let me give 2 pieces of advice. First of all, to the brand new performer, it looks intimidating. Getting everything done right looks intimidating. Getting the video done right looks too expensive. Getting the sound cues to work perfectly every time looks hard. It's not. You just got to figure out how to do it. Bad news for the new performer is it doesn't just magically happen. You have to make it happen. But if you care, you will make it happen. Also, for the new performer, I drop F-bombs left and right in my Vegas show, in my comedy club show. My corporate show is completely PG rated.
Yeah.
Know your audience, know your market, but make sure, first of all, that you're doing your own unique show. Don't steal other people's shows. But also make sure that your humor, that your promo, that everything about you is really you. Audiences know when you're not being genuine. Be sincere. Audiences will latch on to that. Also for the new performer, your volunteers took time out of their day to make your day happen. Respect them for that. I remember getting into an argument with somebody. They were complaining that they weren't getting as many high school shows as they thought they should. And the cover picture of their website had a young girl on it in a short skirt with her legs open, and you could clearly see right up her skirt. And I tried to explain, take that picture down.
Yeah.
No, it's funny. Dude, take that picture down. It's not helping you.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that it was fine. And my final argument to them was, look, you said you had a daughter. If that was your daughter, would you be happy about this? And their response was, my daughter would be smart enough not to volunteer for a show like mine. If you have that lack of regard for your volunteers,
yeah,
you're never going to go anywhere.
No.
For the person out there in the trenches, for the ones who are out there, for the ones who are really, really growing, the best thing that I can tell you is this. Find somebody who can honestly direct you. And I don't know who that is in your life. Maybe you have a great friend who's good at this. Maybe you have performers you've worked with. Find somebody whose advice you can cherish. And when they give you that advice, you're going to throw out 30% of it. But 70% will be really good. Find those people. Find people who will help you to grow. Because as hypnotists, we have to be writer, producer, director, agent, marketing manager, and performer.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. Find people who can honestly help you. And I've got a couple of people who are very good at speaking in my voice. So they know how to help me, right? They know how to advise us. They know how to advise that. Find those people and be willing to listen. And it will help.
Fantastic advice. Absolute fantastic advice. Well, Kevin, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on.
Thank you.
Guys, if anyone's watching this on the replay, check out Kevin's socials, check out his website. Before you go, if you recommend one or two books, not necessarily hypnosis books, but books that you think will help improve the lives of the people watching, what would be your two books?
Oh, to improve the lives of people?
Well,
oh man, we're talking you're talking to a very, very avid reader. Okay, let me go on the performing end. Steve Martin did you a huge favor. He wrote a book called Born Standing Up.
Yeah.
In it, he details everything from the start of his career to why he stopped doing stand-up. God, is that book brilliant. Yeah. As a performer, can't recommend that one enough. A couple of books that I always loved, Illusions, the Confessions of a Reluctant Messiah. If you ever had a chance to read that by Richard Bach, the same guy who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Illusions is a much smaller, much faster read, but that one always inspires me. I reread that one a lot. I always love Stranger in a Strange Land. Honestly, read everything. the more you read, the more experience you get with a lot of other people's points of view, and watch great stand-up.
Yeah.
And figure out why it's great.
Brilliant. Brilliant. Well, Kevin, thank you very much.
My greatest pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I've already got messages thanking me. What a great interview it's been. You've been absolutely fantastic. Take care, and I shall see you soon.
Thank you. Stay healthy.
You too, buddy.